Whoa, 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 whoa.
The Eisenhower Bridge in Gettysburg is widely known as a hotspot for those searching for paranormal evidence. On a cold evening, a woman visited the bridge with her father and husband, intending to explore the area and take a few casual photos for fun. What they captured, however, was far from lighthearted. When they later reviewed the photograph, they noticed a strange figure, someone who had not been present with them at the time. They were confident it wasn't the result of lighting, shadows, or a reflection. But the experience became even more unsettling shortly afterward. Moments after the photo was taken, they heard heavy footsteps and the sound of movement coming from the nearby woods, despite no one else being around. The Eisenhower Bridge is closely tied to Civil War history and has long been associated with reports of ghostly activity. Whether it was coincidence or something more unexplained, it may offer an explanation for what appeared in their photograph, a quiet trace of the past that refuses to disappear. This video was shared on Reddit by a homeowner who claimed he had captured something terrifying inside his home, something that felt straight out of a nightmare. In the footage, the man appears to be conducting a smoke-cleansing ritual, seemingly in an effort to remove whatever had been troubling him.
I know, but I'm not afraid, man.
He then makes his way toward the basement. As the door slowly opens, a dark, shadow-like figure is visible standing still at the bottom of the stairs. Even from afar, the shape looks unsettlingly human. When the footage is paused and enlarged, faint facial features can be seen, pale and unnatural in appearance. Moments later, the homeowner turns on the light, and the figure immediately withdraws into the darkness. Mustering his nerve, he follows after it, only to find the basement completely empty. Suddenly, cries are heard from above, prompting him to rush back up the stairs.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
But before he can reach the top, the door slams shut on its own, trapping him below. What happened next remains unknown. However, since the man later uploaded the video online, it appears he escaped without physical harm, though what was captured continues to leave viewers deeply disturbed. Michigan is often regarded as one of the most haunted states in the United States, ranking 4th nationwide for reported ghost sightings. Paranormal activity is nothing unusual here, but what surprised many was the possibility of Bigfoot. The image in question appears to capture a large, fur-covered figure moving through the trees. When compared to the nearby tree line, the figure's sheer size becomes apparent, leading many to question whether it could truly be a person in a costume. Skeptics may brush off the claim, but doubt often fades once someone believes they've seen something firsthand. With over 20 million acres of thick forest, Michigan provides ample space for a creature like Bigfoot to remain hidden. Residents in smaller communities frequently share accounts of massive, hairy figures, or so-called forest men. Some report hearing strange sounds echoing through the woods, while others claim to have discovered oversized footprints pressed into the ground. There are even stories suggesting the creature leaves behind small offerings, fruit, stones, or branches, anticipating something in return, a behavior commonly referred to as bartering with Bigfoot. Taking all of this into account, the photograph may represent one of the most convincing pieces of evidence yet that the legendary creature could indeed exist. Another man described encountering a dark, shadow-like figure observing him from behind dense bushes.
What the fuck is this?
While hiking through a thick forest, the figure moved with alarming speed, far faster than expected, almost as if it realized it had been noticed. Shocked yet determined, the man quickly circled the nearby tree in an attempt to get a better look. What he discovered left him deeply unsettled. The exact spot where the figure had stood moments earlier was now completely vacant. Something had clearly been there, watching him intently, and then it was simply gone. Trying to explain it away, he told himself it was likely a trick of the mind. However, when he later reviewed the footage he had recorded, the presence was undeniable. A tall, dark shape had been visible, standing and observing. To this day, he remains unsure of what he encountered, only that whatever it was did not want him there and may have been prepared to ensure he left. While hiking through a remote wilderness area, a group of travelers noticed something lying motionless on the surface of a nearby lake. At first, it appeared to be the body of a dead animal, something not entirely unexpected in such an isolated environment. However, as they moved closer, it became clear that what they were seeing was anything but ordinary. Their initial assumption was that it might be a bear, but the longer they studied it, the less that explanation seemed to fit. The body appeared unusually elongated, the snout was slimmer, and the legs looked distinctly canine, resembling those of a wolf, yet far larger than any wolf known to exist. Unable to explain what lay before them, they took a photograph and shared it online. Almost immediately, speculation spread across the internet. Some suggested it could be the result of a rare mutation or an undiscovered species, while others believed it might be proof of a werewolf. And given its size alone, it's easy to understand why. Wolves simply don't grow that large. So what do you think? A bizarre natural anomaly, or something that shouldn't exist at all? A man posted a photo online, stating that his father had captured something unsettling while hiking at night during hunting season. In the image, two unclear figures can be seen. Most viewers believe the figure on the left is simply a deer caught in motion, possibly rearing on its hind legs, with the blur suggesting movement rather than anything paranormal. However, attention quickly shifts to the second figure visible in the right corner of the image. At first glance, it appears to resemble a person wearing a thick jacket with their hands tucked into their pockets. Yet something about it feels off. The proportions don't seem quite right. The figure appears unusually short, the posture rigid, and the outline strangely warped. Some argue it's nothing more than lighting or visual distortion, while others believe it could be something far more unusual concealed in plain sight. Whatever the explanation, the image continues to divide opinion, leaving viewers to decide what they believe it truly shows. This footage was recorded by a hiker traveling through the lowland tropical forests of Africa, and what he captured quickly became deeply unsettling. His camera picked up movement in the distance. At first, it appeared to be a large ape displaying aggressive behavior, forcefully tearing apart a tree using only its hands. Remaining calm, the hiker continued filming as the creature ripped into the trunk with remarkable strength. Throughout most of the clip, it resembled a powerful primate until the final moments when it suddenly rose upright. At that point, its full size and distinctly human-like stance became unmistakable. Realizing the situation had changed, the hiker slowly retreated. What he had seen no longer seemed like a typical ape or gorilla, but instead matched long-standing descriptions of the elusive skunk ape, a creature rumored to inhabit remote regions. Fortunately, he managed to leave before drawing its attention, because if it had noticed him, the encounter could have ended very differently. Recorded in October of 1994, this footage may be decades old, yet what it appears to show remains just as unsettling today. In many ways, the age of the video adds to the mystery. With limited visual effects technology available at the time, it seems unlikely that the imagery was digitally manipulated or staged. The clip captures a large figure moving alone through a mountainous landscape. The person filming was positioned at a considerable distance, which makes the image unclear, but the silhouette itself is hard to ignore. The figure appears tall, dark, and humanoid, walking with a stride that resembles a human gait, though something about it feels distinctly unnatural. Where the figure was going, and what it truly was, remain unanswered questions. Over the years, those mysteries have persisted without resolution. Even specialists who reviewed the footage were unable to reach a definitive conclusion. To this day, opinions remain split. Some believe it represents authentic evidence of something unknown, while others argue it was simply a person captured at the right moment, under unusual circumstances. For anyone who views the ocean as a calm, peaceful escape, a place to unwind and listen to the surf, this clip serves as a stark reminder that the sea can be unpredictable and at times frightening. The footage highlights just how quickly a quiet moment on the water can turn tense. The video was recorded by a man kayaking alone in open water when he suddenly heard loud splashing sounds coming from his left. Within moments, he sensed that something large was moving beneath him. The disturbance drew closer. circling around the kayak, making it clear that he was no longer alone and possibly in danger. Whatever was beneath the surface moved rapidly from side to side, churning the water before disappearing without a trace. For a brief moment, the scene felt like something out of a nightmare. Later, analysis suggested that the cause was likely a group of manatees, animals known for their playful yet surprising movements. Even so, judging by the footage, anyone in that situation would have been genuinely shaken. Depending on who you believe, the thylacine, better known as the Tasmanian tiger, either vanished decades ago or has simply managed to remain hidden. Footage recorded in Clifton Springs, Australia, in 2019, claims to show the elusive animal. The creature in the video appears more wolf-like than tiger-like, with faint but noticeable dark striping along its back and tail. Historically, the thylacine was driven to extinction after European settlers hunted it heavily, mistakenly believing it threatened livestock. The final confirmed individual was transferred to the Hobart Zoo in 1931 and died there 5 years later. Since that time, numerous hikers, hunters, and cryptid researchers have reported possible sightings, though scientific reviews of these reports generally suggest misidentification. Even so, belief in the species' survival persists. Some are convinced the thylacine still exists, concealed deep within Tasmania's remote wilderness. The animal shown in this video strengthens that argument for some viewers. Its build, movement, and subtle striping appear consistent with historical descriptions. Unfortunately, the footage is too distant to serve as definitive proof. Still, many hold on to the hope that science may have been mistaken, and that somewhere beyond human reach, the Tasmanian tiger continues to survive. Many people remember the thrill of visiting a video rental store, wandering through the aisles, scanning movie covers, and hoping the one you wanted hadn't already been taken. For some, it's a reminder of a simpler era, but for one employee, that familiar setting turned into something far more unsettling. While completing his routine duties late at night, organizing DVDs and tidying up the shelves, something unusual began to occur. One by one, cases slid out on their own and dropped to the floor. There were no customers present, and the store was nearly dark, yet it appeared as though an unseen presence was still browsing the shelves long after closing time. The security footage gives the impression that a playful poltergeist may have decided the store wasn't finished for the night, and judging by what was captured, whatever was there didn't seem ready to leave without selecting a movie of its own. These clips rank among the most unsettling trail encounters ever captured on camera. A YouTuber from the channel Outsider Tank set out expecting a peaceful day surrounded by nature. While scouting the area for a suitable campsite, he couldn't shake the persistent sense that he was being watched.
What the... What is that?
Not long after, he noticed an unusual figure lingering in the distance. Once the footage was uploaded online, viewers quickly began debating what it might be. Some argued it was nothing more than a cat, or possibly a possum hidden in the shadows. Others, however, saw something far more disturbing. To many, the shape appeared almost human, resembling the face of an elderly woman, with skin so pale it looked nearly gray. Whatever it was, it didn't resemble any ordinary person. Speculation soon followed. Some wondered if it could have been a witch, while others suggested it might have been the spirit of someone who once lived in those woods and never truly left. No clear explanation has ever been confirmed, but one thing seems certain: it wasn't a cat, and the man was extremely fortunate to leave the area without being harmed. Two hikers recently shared a photograph online, stating that they had come across the legendary Bigfoot. The image was taken deep within the forest, well beyond any established trail, an isolated area that could explain why the creature has rarely been photographed there before. Most people never travel that far into the wilderness. The hikers also mentioned hearing loud, unsettling noises shortly before the sighting, though they were unable to determine the source. They aren't the only ones who believe they've captured something unusual. The Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization later traveled to Deadwood, an abandoned ghost town long linked to eerie tales and Bigfoot encounters. While recording near a deteriorating house filled with bats, the team noticed movement among the trees. The photo was taken at the moment one member claimed to see a humanoid form, something upright, with visible limbs, moving between the trees. Some argue it was nothing more than lighting or a small animal caught at the right moment. Others believe it could be something far more unusual. The team stands by their claim that the image represents genuine evidence of Bigfoot. Whether that's true or not is up to you to decide. Two hikers were making their way up the slopes of Mount St. Helens when they encountered something unsettling. As they dislodged rocks that tumbled down the hillside, they noticed movement in a clearing below.
Hey, there's something down there. See that in the clearing?
Oh, yeah.
In the distance, a massive figure, far taller than any person, could be seen moving steadily through the landscape. What makes the sighting even more compelling is Mount St. Helens' long history of reported Bigfoot encounters. Over the years, others have described witnessing similar figures in the same area, and the resemblance between those reports and what was captured here is difficult to ignore. Loggers working deep in a remote forest unknowingly recorded something unusual while operating heavy equipment. During filming, a tall, dark figure briefly appeared in the background. At the time, nothing seemed unusual, but later, when the footage was reviewed, the discovery left them stunned. In a separate clip, a father recorded his daughter, Liana, as they walked through the woods, completely unaware of what was happening behind them. In the background, a large figure can be seen moving among the trees. When the footage was later examined, they were shocked by what appeared on camera, something they believe could have been Bigfoot. On November 12, 2024, an unusual discovery was reported deep within the forests of India's South Garo Hills in Meghalaya. Two massive, weather-worn footprints were found pressed into separate moss-covered rocks along a riverbank. The impressions appeared extremely old, softened by erosion and layered with moss, indicating they had likely been there for many years. The discovery quickly drew attention both locally and internationally, as the footprints closely matched descriptions of the Mandai Barong, a legendary creature rooted in regional folklore. The Mandai Barong is said to be a large, hairy, bipedal humanoid, often compared to Bigfoot, and is believed by locals to roam the subtropical forests of the Garo Hills where the prints were uncovered. Alicia S. submitted a photograph to the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization that was originally taken by her friend's daughter in central Minnesota. The young girl had been photographing deer when she unintentionally captured something unusual within the frame. It wasn't until several days later that they noticed a strange figure appearing to watch one of the animals. Since that discovery, their German Shepherd has reportedly been acting unusually restless, which they now believe may be connected to the sighting. Alicia, who has lived in the area her entire life, also noted Minnesota's long-standing history of Bigfoot reports. Could this image represent genuine evidence of Bigfoot, or is there another explanation behind what was captured? On November 2, 2024, at around 3 a.m., a man living in Connersville, Indiana, recorded something deeply disturbing on his trail camera. The device, designed to detect both movement and heat, captured 4 images in succession of what appeared to be a large, upright creature. Its build was broad, with a rounded head, long arms, and thick hair, traits commonly associated with Sasquatch sightings. Adding to the mystery, unusual tracks were later found in the surrounding area. Josh Banker, who owned the camera, also reported hearing strange, high-pitched noises coming from the woods, along with similar reports of unexplained sounds shared by nearby residents. In October of 2010, a man was reviewing DVR footage captured from his vehicle when he noticed something out of the ordinary. The recording shows a truck traveling along a rural road when a large, dark figure suddenly appears near the roadside. The figure's hands seem unusually large, closely matching descriptions often associated with Bigfoot sightings. The question remains, what else could it have been? In early 2024, a drone conducting a border patrol operation in Big Bend National Park, Texas, recorded something unusual using its thermal imaging system. The aerial image reveals a figure with thick, light-colored fur, along with clearly defined limbs and a visible head. After the footage was reviewed, specialists acknowledged that it raised unanswered questions, as no definitive explanation could be determined. The region is already known for unsettling local legends, including stories of a white Sasquatch or Yeti-like creature, which has only fueled speculation surrounding the image. The location itself is extremely remote, with no marked trails or signs of human activity nearby. Because of this isolation, some believe the footage could represent an elusive creature similar to Bigfoot, rather than anything easily explained. A Reddit user posted an image from a trail camera in North Carolina that appeared to show a dark, fur-covered figure among the trees. The figure's arms seemed unusually long for a bear, which led some to speculate that it could be Bigfoot. The camera had been set up to track deer activity and captured the figure in a remote location known for unexplained sounds, including howling and knocking noises. On November 15, 2024, a video was submitted to the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch group, recounting a disturbing Bigfoot encounter that reportedly took place 3 years earlier in a mobile home park near Mount Shasta in Northern California. According to the witness, a powerful creature violently shook the trailer, produced deep growling sounds through a window, and repeatedly struck the walls with immense force over the course of 2 nights. When she eventually went outside, she recorded what appeared to be a pair of glowing eyes watching from the darkness. Later on, her companion claimed to have seen a tall, shadowy figure moving near the trailer. Although skeptics argued the activity could have been caused by a bear, the sounds and the silhouette did not align with typical bear behavior. The area is well known for unexplained noises, and Mount Shasta itself has a long-standing reputation tied to Bigfoot reports. Could this incident have been a real encounter? A harvester captured what was described as compelling footage of a possible Bigfoot encounter, drawing widespread curiosity. The video shows a large, human-shaped figure jumping down from a tree near the edge of the forest. It then moves quickly to the left, abruptly changes direction, and vanishes back into the woods. What makes the sighting particularly unusual is that the figure appears to be outside what is considered its typical environment. The footage raises intriguing questions about the behavior of such an elusive creature and what might have caused it to emerge into view. A group of friends went hiking through the woods for an enjoyable day out, and as they headed back, they chose to record a short clip to remember the trip. While the camera focused on the group, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. However, when they later watched the video, they realized they hadn't been alone. In the background, a dark shape appeared, humanoid in form, yet moving in an eerie, almost ghost-like manner. The discovery left them shaken and deeply unsettled by what they had unknowingly recorded. A couple was camping close to a plantation when this photograph was taken. In the background, the face of a brown-colored figure appears to be peeking out from behind the branches of a tree. At the time, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but later, while looking back through the images, they were left terrified by what they discovered. In 2016, a man hiking through the wooded areas of Maryland reported an unsettling experience. He unexpectedly encountered a large, fur-covered figure with horns, described as resembling a Sasquatch, but with a distinctly goat-like head. The first photograph spread rapidly online, but a second image proved even more disturbing, as it showed the figure more clearly positioned behind a tree. The sighting closely aligns with long-standing accounts of the Maryland Goat Man, a chilling figure from American folklore believed to be part human and part goat, often described as having cloven hooves, a horned head, and an ominous presence. The Goat Man is commonly linked to remote and unsettling locations. Whether this was a genuine encounter with a legendary creature or a carefully staged hoax remains an open question. While traveling together on a road trip, a family was enjoying the drive when their young daughter glanced out the window and pointed out something strange. In an open, grassy field, a dark shape was visible.
Mom, look how pretty the sunset is. Ow! What was that?
At first, it seemed like it could be an animal, or perhaps a person, but its size and posture made it hard to clearly identify what it was. A video titled Jabba's Cascade Bigfoot, uploaded on August 5, 2024, surprised many viewers due to how convincing it appeared. However, with no background information about where it came from, the footage remains surrounded by uncertainty. In the clip, the figure seems to notice the person filming before quietly retreating from view. Many estimate the creature's height to be around 7 feet, without further context or confirmation, the sighting continues to stand as an unresolved mystery. If you work in isolated areas, especially around the Uinta Basin, this next account may sound familiar. It was shared through the RMSO Bigfoot X account, where a follower submitted a detailed personal experience. The report came from a coal miner who was working near the Uinta Basin in May of 2012. According to his account, while traveling along a trail, he noticed something seated behind a large rock beside the path. He described the figure as having a cone-shaped head and extremely broad shoulders, estimated to be about 48 to 50 inches wide. Its light beige hair was said to be 6 to 8 inches long, thick and moving with the wind, with patches of pink skin visible beneath the fur. When he later returned to measure the rock, he estimated the figure would have been roughly 6 feet tall while seated and close to 10 feet tall if standing. While this remains a personal story, the level of detail and how closely it aligns with common Bigfoot descriptions makes the account particularly unsettling. For reasons unknown, people working in remote environments seem to report encounters like these more often than others. When discussions turn to evidence supporting Bigfoot's existence, the name Dallas Gilbert frequently comes up, and this photograph may be among the most compelling. The image was shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, and quickly drew attention from cryptid researchers and enthusiasts. In the photo, Gilbert and a companion were searching the woods for signs of Bigfoot when they unintentionally captured a dark shape deep among the trees. The figure appeared tall and wide, closely fitting the classic profile often associated with Bigfoot. As the image circulated online, debate quickly followed. Some dismissed it as shadows or lighting effects, while others believed it could finally be the elusive creature itself. Tragically, Dallas Gilbert passed away on December 9, 2016. Had he lived longer, the sighting might have undergone further investigation, and perhaps led to even stronger evidence suggesting Bigfoot truly exists. For more unusual and fascinating footage, take a look at what comes next. This next video comes from an excavation site where workers uncovered something so strange, it challenges what we think we know about the past. The clips were shared across multiple Instagram accounts and quickly spread online. During digging operations at Jatayu Mountain near Meerut, workers reportedly unearthed a human-like skeleton that left many stunned. What made the discovery even more shocking was how fossilized and well-preserved it appeared, especially since nothing like it exists in documented history. Archaeologists have since begun examining the find, while social media has filled with speculation, some even connecting it to events described in the Ramayana. Many believe the remains could be linked to the legendary bird king Jatayu, a demigod from the Hindu epic said to have taken the form of a massive vulture who attempted to save Sita from Ravana. Others argue the object is more likely a man-made sculpture that had been buried long ago and only recently uncovered. Whether this discovery represents a lost chapter of ancient history or something far more unsettling remains unknown. A hunter traveling through the Canadian wilderness experienced an encounter that stunned the hunting community. Frank, a solo hunter from Canada, was exploring an area near the Nordegg forests in Alberta when he began hearing strange noises echoing from deep within the trees. Curious, he mounted his quad and followed the sounds, unaware that what followed would become a nightmare. When he reached the area, he called out to his friend Dawn, who was believed to be nearby, but received no reply. Instead, an unsettling silence filled the forest, until something else responded. Alarmed, Frank returned to his quad, but stopped cold when he noticed a figure standing perfectly still in the darkness some distance away.
Dawn.
Thinking it might be his friend, he called out again, but the figure remained motionless and silent. Panic began to creep in. When he tried to restart his quad, it failed, while the strange noises continued around him. Fearing the worst, he moved forward on foot, with the overwhelming sense that something was trailing him. While fleeing, he stumbled upon the remains of a deer and discovered a crude shelter nearby, constructed from branches and foliage. The structure appeared intentional, as though built with purpose, and fur was scattered around the site. Feeling cornered, Frank fired warning shots toward the darkness where he believed something was moving. That decision only escalated the situation. Moments later, a dark creature burst from the brush, and the footage became chaotic. Amid the confusion, Frank was dragged across the ground by whatever had attacked him. Alberta has long been associated with reports of unexplained creatures in its forests. Just 1 year earlier, an oil field worker near Nordegg captured dashcam footage of a tall, dark figure standing completely still in the snow while he inspected nearby equipment. Though faint, the figure was unmistakable and appeared similar in nature. Another chilling account came from a construction worker in the Sunchild First Nation region, who early one morning noticed a strange presence among the trees, a figure closely resembling the one seen in earlier footage, watching silently from a distance. Together, these incidents have left many unsettled. While no definitive proof exists, the consistency and realism of these encounters in Canada's remote wilderness are difficult to ignore. It may not confirm what's out there, but it strongly suggests that something is watching, and it does not want to be found. Forests often appear quiet and peaceful, but this footage suggests something far more disturbing may be hiding just beyond the trees. Across the state, especially in the misty woodlands of eastern Kentucky, numerous reports of shadowy figures have surfaced over the years. The volume of these claims eventually led to the formation of the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Organization, a group dedicated to documenting sightings, investigating encounters, and even promoting protection for the alleged creature. In 2013, the organization released material that sent shockwaves through the Bigfoot community. First shared on their official website, the footage gained widespread attention after being reposted to a third-party YouTube channel on December 31, 2013. The video consists of a sequence of still images taken deep within Kentucky's forests. At approximately 8:01 a.m., the camera captured something unusual, though it's only noticeable when the footage is slowed down and magnified. For a brief moment, what appears to be a head peeks out from behind dense vegetation before slipping back out of view. A closer look reveals branches shifting as the figure briefly emerges and retreats. When the brightness and contrast are adjusted, the shape becomes more defined, a dark fur-covered head that closely resembles traditional descriptions of Bigfoot. Debate quickly followed. Some viewers claimed the images were undeniable evidence, while skeptics argued it could be an owl, citing the size and what appear to be large eye sockets. That explanation might seem reasonable if this were an isolated case. But 3 years earlier, in December 2010, another trail camera in Kentucky recorded something just as unsettling, a humanoid figure completely covered in fur. Moving with a posture commonly associated with Bigfoot, including a noticeably hunched back. When accounts like these are combined with reports from hunters, campers, and even law enforcement, individuals with no apparent desire for attention, it raises an unsettling question. Could Kentucky's vast and rugged wilderness be concealing an undiscovered species? In a landscape as remote and mysterious as this, Bigfoot may be more than just a legend passed down through folklore.